Hello everybody, Renee Massey here, coming to you live on this Wednesday. So wonderful to be here with you. I was able to gather some time and come live and share some of my insights about everything that's going on with this eclipse season and this Virgo portal that we've been in for a couple of weeks now. And so we've had the Virgo new moon, and then we had the Pisces, the lunar eclipse in Pisces a few days ago. And even if you don't believe in astrology, and even if you don't align with the lunar cycles and things like that, would you say that things have been a little wobbly? Would you say that you can feel the tectonic plates of change shifting in your life as we speak? And I'm very much in like my fall attire today. I'm kind of just doing things around the house and doing just kind of back office stuff. And I recorded a really amazing meditation for all of the beautiful people that are discovering their psychic gifts or going deeper with their psychic gifts. And I have felt that, especially with a lunar eclipse in Pisces, a lot of things are being activated within the third eye, within the imagination, probably also having really, really vivid dreams, possibly lucid dreaming, possibly prophetic dreaming. And so this is all of the stuff that seems to pop up during eclipse season anyway. This particular eclipse season is unique because of the fact that we have two Virgo new moons, and the second one will be on September 21st, which is also a solar eclipse, and that's a really big deal. Okay, so let me know if you are here live on the replay. Say hello, and I'm actually going to just share a little bit about myself before I go into the rest of the information about what this energetic portal is representing for us. So I am Renee Massey. I am a psychic medium. I'm also an astrologer. I'm also a human design strategist, and what I do is I help my clients do extraordinary things with their lives because of what I bring to the table. And what I bring to the table is my psychic insight, my vision, my wisdom, my ability to go really, really deep into the emotional details, into the blind spots, into all of the hidden little crevices of the mind and the consciousness of the emotional field. I also have the ability to connect with and communicate with angels and spirit guides and different ethereal beings and light beings from higher realms of consciousness. Hi, Jen. And so what I do is I channel a lot of information. And there's different ways to channel. There's very light ways of channeling where, I could be here and just kind of start streaming information. I could go into a much deeper channel where there are going to be you're going to be able to tell, like, there's something different about your voice. There's something different about the way you're presenting information, stuff like that. And then there's also trance, physical mediumship channeling, which is where I let like a divine being take over, and it's a very, very different experience. And you're really connecting with the divine being that I'm allowing to kind of take over the vessel, and I have control. It's not like anything weird. It's really not. But I've been doing this for so many years, and my journey started a very, very long time ago when I was very young. And so I'm going to be 43 in October. And so I've been doing this work for around 25 or so years, and it's, it goes deeper and deeper. There is no completion to your mastery in this world with this work. And so I want to be very clear that it's not like a super cushy, cozy journey. It's not a journey of like, rainbows and sunshine and little fluffy bunny rabbits. You will have moments where you experience the tenderness and the sheer beauty and magic and mysticism of what this universe possesses within itself, and how you are also a part of that and connect so deeply into that, and you take on that energy. Like, it's incredible. Oh, I'm so glad you're interested. It's beautiful, and it's messy work. It's not this like I said, this very fancy thing that you would see on TV. You go into a deepness and a rawness within yourself to extract vulnerability, to extract truth. And I just did a TikTok video. If you're not on my TikTok, go on my TikTok. I don't have a lot of TikTok things going on right now, but I felt more inspired to share something about my own story of being sober for 5+ years and having such a deep empathic and psychic journey that for many years I had really denied myself of these abilities because I thought it was supposed to look different, and I was comparing myself to everything that I saw on TV and in the movies. And so I was like, oh, that's not me. That's not how I feel. That's not what I interact with or connect with or communicate with. And so I just downplayed it as like these little blips, these little, like, maybe it's my imagination, maybe it's not, but no matter what it is, I know that it's not anything too special. And this is where I would say, please do not go there with yourself. Do not go there with yourself and think that something you might be experiencing, because it isn't, like, you can't put words to it, and because you can't, like, identify it with other people, and other people don't understand where you're coming from with it, doesn't discredit what you experience, okay? And the people that I know who have had substance abuse issues and addiction and codependency in certain areas of their life, there's trauma, okay? There is fucking trauma. And in addition to that trauma, there are very heightened abilities and gifts that you came here with, and over time got buried under the trauma. And so my gift is to extract the gifts. My gift is to extract the gifts. That's right, Sobriety Crew. And I extract the gifts by helping you recognize what is true, what is real, and separating that from the false illusions of your conditioning and your programming and other people's expectations and what you've taken responsibility for, because chances are you've taken more responsibility for other people's stuff, and it's really only your job to take responsibility for your stuff, the good, the bad, the ugly. Like, it's okay, and you are okay. No matter what, at the end of the day, you're okay. And so be grateful for the breath that fills your lungs. Be grateful that you got to be here. Be grateful that you got to take another step forward in your life. Like, those are the things that we have to really hold dear to our heart. But it also plays into what's going on with the eclipse season right now, because I will tell you right now that when Pisces is at play, there is some very deep stuff that wants to get churned up in the unconscious. And Pisces rules the subconscious mind. Pisces is all about the inner, deeper workings and layers of your mind and what your mind is connecting with. I call it the undercurrent. I call it the undercurrent because water, it's like, obviously it depends on the water, right? There's certain waters that are so crystalline and so clear that you can see all the way down. But if you were on a boat in the middle of the ocean and you look down at the water, all you see are these waves and these ripples, and you also have an opportunity to see light shining off of the surface of the water, right? And so it depends on what it is, but it can look like a million diamonds sparkling along the surface. It can look glistening, but it can also be deceiving because you have no idea what is happening beneath the surface of the water. You can look at the water and think it is the most beautiful thing ever, but you have no idea what is hidden within the depths of the water. And that is you. There is an undercurrent to your mind, to your being, to your consciousness. And this is what continually gets tripped up within us, is the illusions. And when a lunar eclipse happens, especially in the sign of Pisces, we have an opportunity to really connect with what has been contributing to that illusion. And when Neptune goes retrograde, which it is and will be, I think, until like December 10th, we also have a lot of recognition around the peeling back of layers of illusion. So while Neptune is retrograde, and it just retrograded back from back from Aries into Pisces. And so that is a native place for Neptune. We just had a lunar eclipse in Pisces. So what this is asking of you is to really pay attention to the different emotions and thoughts that are coming up into your awareness right now, because they are potent, and they might not feel good and they might not feel pleasant, but they are teaching you something really powerful about who you are. Jen, I struggle with that still. I always look for a way to make things my fault. I completely understand. This is what I help my clients with, because I took responsibility for everybody in my life. I took responsibility for their feelings. I took responsibility for their emotions. I took responsibility for their choices, their pain, their frustrations. I took responsibility for everything that was happening to them. And do you know why though? Because I could feel them. It is very different, like, not to separate like men and women at all, because there's men that are empathic, but there are a lot of men that have not really discovered their empathic nature. And I think it's easier for a man to look at something and be like, they can turn it on or they can turn it off, right? Like they can say no very easily and leave it as no, where no is a complete sentence. For those of us who are more empathic and we feel things and we have this empathy to help and be of service, it's like we feel what they feel. We take on their symptoms. We take on the side effects of their choices, and we take it into our energy field. We take it into our body. And this is where it's so important for us to draw the line, and not as like a kicking them out kind of thing. It's like I strengthen myself from within because I know what I'm truly responsible for. And I'm mature enough to take that on for myself, because no matter what, I know I'm going to be okay. I know that I can handle this. And even in the times where I can't handle it or I really struggle to handle it, I know that I'm still going to be okay. And then I might have a day or maybe a couple of days where I'm just holding the energy and processing some of the feelings and processing the energy that's moving through the body, because that's what empaths do. Okay? So I know that it's difficult to draw the line, and I know that it's difficult to express to somebody that a line is actually being drawn, because you can think about that line all day long. Because I've done that, where it's like, I can think about this line and I can think about how I don't want anybody to cross it, and what I'm going to do if they do cross it, and how I'm going to behave, and how I'm going to treat myself, and how I'm going to do all these things. But then when you have to communicate that truth to somebody else, it's a completely different thing. So it's so important to strengthen your voice and to strengthen the conviction that you have in your identity and in your truth. Okay. Hi, Miss Faith. I am so happy to see you here live. Oh my gosh. Yes, come back for the replay. So now you can understand like why this is coming up so strongly for some people right now, this feeling of these like very heightened and intense emotions and feeling like I don't know what to do with it. And it can feel very much like the past is coming up and creeping up into your world. And so the other part of that I want to acknowledge is that you have to understand that with a lunar eclipse, what you're kicking up is a lot of inner child. You're kicking up a lot of shadow wounds, okay? It's all of the darker stuff. This is why when I am, teaching and I'm training people about like different astrological things or mystical or psychic stuff, I always advise, do not do candle work or burning things or charging your crystals or making moon water under the energy of a lunar eclipse, only because the energy is very intense and its desire is to release from a very deep level. Okay, it's really reaching into the undercurrent to pick things out, and it's gonna bring maybe sometimes some shocking energy into the system that needs to be calibrated, right? So with that being said, I want you to look back at where you were 6 months ago, because lunar eclipses also are clearing things that got initiated 6 months ago when we were in the new moon of that energy. So if I say this lunar eclipse was in the sign of Pisces, 6 months ago, we had a new moon in Pisces, and that would have been early spring. That would have been the beginning of March, okay? Yeah, I think that would have been the beginning of March. And so you have to go back there, and I want you to really, really deeply consider the things that were happening in your life around that time frame, okay? Now, when I look back at my life and what was going on in my world in that time frame, I can completely connect with like, oh yeah, like this is what's being cleared for me right now. And it's helpful because And nothing is worse than trying to figure out, like, why do I feel the way I feel? Why is this happening in my life right now? Because we want to know what to do with it. We want to know how we can better direct it. We want to know, is this something that I'm clearing? Is this something that I'm activating? Is this something that I'm calling in? Is this something that I'm releasing? Is there somebody else's energy that's influencing my energy? Is this my stuff or is it their stuff? So there's so many different ways that deep inside in your unconscious, your brain is trying to figure out like what this is, what to do with it, what does it mean? How can I move the energy? How can I shift this into something bigger, better, and more aligned for my desired future, right? So go back to whatever was going on in late February, early March, and really connect with that. And then allow yourself to really be present here and notice that there are things that are like, there are loose ends that are getting tied up for you right now. You are reaching the end of certain cycles, especially with yesterday being like a 999 day. So it was September 9th, 9th month, 9th day. And because this is a 9 year, 2 plus 2 plus 5 equals 9. And so yesterday was a 9/9 day. That means today's the 10 day. That means today we reset. But we don't fully reset until the solar eclipse on the 21st, which is also going to be in the equinox portal. So the equinox portal, the equinox itself, is on the 22nd, which is the first day of Libra. And so there we have a massive opportunity, which is my birth sign. We have a massive opportunity to really start harmonizing and calibrating the energy that have been like so shifting and wonky and wobbly over the past couple of months. So now we have an opportunity to recalibrate what's happening. But my advice, my true heart and soul advice for the next couple of weeks is to really let yourself go through this. You will, your ego, your human is going to be like, I don't want to feel this way. Why am I feeling this way? I shouldn't feel this way. I need to feel something different. I want to do something different. Like it's going to resist, because as soon as we start feeling discomfort, we immediately equate it to this is bad. Something's wrong. I have to fix this. I shouldn't feel like this. I don't want to feel like this. I want to feel something different. Why do I feel this? Why can't I feel something different? And so we begin this, rigmarole within ourselves about why we're feeling this way. I want you to recognize that you feel this way for a very specific reason. And the energy of the universe between the alignment of these great planets and the frequencies that they project during these certain alignments is saying, I'm giving you permission to let this go now. I'm giving you permission to make peace with this, to stop resisting, to hold energy and space for yourself. If that means that you need to fall apart a little bit, go for it. Go for it, okay? Like, I allowed myself to fall apart this year. When I closed my store, I closed my store for good reasons, very good reasons. And I stand by those reasons because it was a very difficult decision for me to go. I was split between digital, like online business, and my physical location. And I decided to close down my physical location to focus specifically on my digital business, but not because I didn't want a physical business anymore, because I really want to be more present with my family, okay? I have a daughter that's going to turn 18 next week, and she's a senior in high school, and I've got another one that's turning 13 on Halloween, and she's in 7th grade, and I have spent my whole life working. I've spent my whole life in service of everything. Hospitality, coaching, teaching, everything. Doing readings, doing healing work, so much. And I don't have any regrets about that. I love doing the work that I do. But I also recognize that there was something missing. And so it's okay to acknowledge that there's something missing, and it's okay to acknowledge that there's a desire that you want to be met, and that you don't want to make those sacrifices in vain anymore. You don't want to do just because you think you're supposed to. You don't want to keep this going just because you think that's what other people expect you to do. And if you change your mind, you may seem flaky, you may seem inconsistent, you may seem disloyal or uncommitted or whatever. This journey is not about other people. This journey is about you. You and you and you and you and you. And that is it. And the way that you get to share that journey with other people, that's where it gets interesting. And you get to add all of these other flavors and, incorporate other people into the journey. But it requires, in my opinion, a softening. a softening and a vulnerability that wants to be there, because when you get to that place within yourself and you're able to witness that rawness and not resist her, not push her down, push her away, fight her, or tell her that she's wrong or she's bad, that is when the magic really takes hold. The vulnerability and the softness of your own womanhood, your own being, your own soul. There is no other soul like your soul. Just like nobody has the same eyes as you. Nobody has the same fingerprint as you. Nobody's DNA is your DNA. And nobody's soul is your soul. So your journey as a soul is the most unique journey that you will ever be on. And nobody can cookie cut that. That no journey is going to look the same, which is why I do a lot of very intentional, customized curation when I work with my clients, because it's not about me, it's about you and your journey. So as we are purging, you're going to notice, like, your body is going to say, I want to heal, I want to heal, I want to heal. This is a good time to do baths. This is a good time to do a lot of grounding work, like really letting your feet wiggle into the dirt. Now, I love being in the dirt. I have a Capricorn rising, and so I really love, I love getting my hands in the soil. I love the soil under my fingernails. I love getting my toes all into the soil. I love the smell of the soil. Like, it's very healing and soothing for me, depending on, and so if you have a rising earth sign, like if your rising sign is earth, chances are you might feel the same way, and you feel very good being surrounded by crystals and plants and stuff like that, and getting into the soil and the dirt. If your rising sign is a water sign, chances are you're going to feel much more comfortable doing the baths, doing the long showers, and if you live in a warmer climate, like I live in Florida, it's still pretty, I'm trying to pull off fall, but it's still pretty hot here. But if you live in a climate that is warmer and more conducive to being in, a natural body of water, like the ocean, don't go in lakes down here. No, you don't want alligators, but you know what I'm saying. Going into a natural body of water to cleanse and just wash away different things. These things are elements that are here to support you and serve you. Everything is interconnected, and I see that. I'm a mystic. I've always been a mystic. I see how everything is interwoven and everything is interconnected to each other. And so if you're an air sign rising, it might feel better to go for a walk and, just talk to the trees, talking to the crystals, talking to the animal spirits. It might feel good to write and to journal, or to even get like a creative story out of your system and onto paper. And if you have a fire rising, you probably want to work with fire. And so I'm not going to say don't work with fire. The eclipse itself, like, we're out of that eclipse energy. We're still in the season of the energy, but it's not the kind of energy that I would be like, don't burn anything. I would say at this point, if you want to light candles, if you want to do some very intentional candle work, you can. And I would say if you want to burn stuff, you can burn stuff safely, of course. But this is a really good time. So yeah, air signs would want to do more like sage, Palo Santo, anything that's going to create cleansing in the air and releasing different energies. Everybody has a gift to give in this world. Everybody has something special and unique to offer. But what I find is most of us spend a lot of time comparing ourselves to each other and thinking, what did I miss? Why am I far behind? What am I not catching on to? Why is this so hard for me? Please know that just because somebody else looks like it's going really well for them, social media is tricky like that. It doesn't show you the shit that's going on behind the scenes in people's lives, and the places that their heart is breaking, and the places that they feel weak or fragile or vulnerable or exposed, and the hardships that they might be facing in their relationships, or things that they might not like about themselves when they look in the mirror. And we all go through this. We're all in a journey that is vulnerable and exposed and raw and trying to figure it out. It's just that not everybody talks about it so transparently. I talk about it pretty transparently because I don't think that I don't think that I'm supposed to stay quiet about it. I don't think that I'm supposed to hide it and pretend like it's not a thing. I think that I'm here to stoke the fires and really ignite something pretty fucking big so that we have the power to recognize that it's okay for us to be messy. It's okay for things to be sloppy. It's okay to have some inconsistencies. It's okay to change your mind. It's okay to fall down and to make mistakes and to misstep in your path. It's okay to go through addiction. It's okay to go through substance abuse. It's okay to experience codependency. It's okay to lose things. It's okay to forget things. It's okay. The things that are not okay are how we serve ourselves through it. How we serve ourselves. Pay very, very close attention to that. All of those things are okay except for how we serve ourselves. So when you come to a point in your life and you think to yourself, this is no longer viable for me. You know, I quit drinking over 5 years ago during COVID, May 1st, 2020. I said, I'm not drinking anymore. And I haven't touched alcohol since. And it has been the most extraordinary journey of figuring out who the hell this person is, even though this person has been on a personal development, spiritual development journey since she was 15 years old. There are so many layers to this journey, and I've worked with so many people that I would say, no, we have to go back in and heal that. And they're like, I already did this. I worked on this 2 years ago. Well, new layer, new challenge. It's okay. How we take care of ourselves is the critical component here, because so many different people have so many different problems, right? We all have different things that are messy, things that we don't want to talk about, things that we don't want to expose, things we want to conceal, things we regret, things we feel very remorseful for. But how you forgive yourself and how you take care of yourself and how you can have compassion for your human experience, because that's also very Piscean energy. That lunar eclipse Piscean energy says it's time for me to forgive. But I'm not asking you to forgive somebody else. I'm actually inviting you to forgive you. And to look at yourself with a compassion in your eyes that you would look at an injured animal or a child that was lost in the supermarket. How would you tend to that animal or to that child? And can you put that energy back into you? Can you look at yourself as that injured child, that animal, and say, I have so much compassion for your pain. I have so much love for what you've gone through, what you're going through. I know that you are doing your best, and I forgive you for the mistakes and missteps that have occurred along the way, because I know that you have not had all that you have needed in this journey to be the best version of yourself, and I give you grace for that. That's why I have this tattoo on my hand. It says grace. Because it is a reminder to be kind and merciful. And what is mercy? Mercy is to acknowledge someone's mistakes without punishing them. Because when you make a mistake, you punish the shit out of yourself. And when you give yourself grace and mercy, you acknowledge a mistake that was made without the punishment. And I know you're capable of doing that for yourself. I know you're capable of stepping to the edge of yourself and finding the dignity and the grace that is needed to forgive anything that has happened before. And forgiveness is a journey unto itself, because where there is shame or guilt or embarrassment, we tend to hold on to it as a protective mechanism so that we don't feel what is possible beyond that, just in case somebody might come and snatch it away from us. Like, no, I am bad, so I'm not allowed to have that. No, I am bad, so I am not allowed to go there or do that. And so we allow ourselves to constrict and shrink in our energy field, when the truth is that you are a direct tether to source energy, whether you call it God, divine source, great spirit. I really don't care. creator, whatever, you have a direct tether to that source being. And you are a reflection of that source being. And there are angels that administer to you, and spirit guides and guardians and ancestors and beautiful beings that want to be by your side and are by your side right now. And they're like, yeah, she's right, listen to her. And yet you'll discredit yourself and you'll continue to ruminate in the mistakes as if they define you. All they do is put a cage around you. So my invitation is forgiveness. My invitation is to embrace and allow yourself to take responsibility for who you are, but taking responsibility for who you are and whatever's happened is not the same thing as punishment. Responsibility and punishment are very different, but because this entire society runs on judgment and punishment, it's very difficult to tell the difference. But responsibility is not the same as punishment. So you can take responsibility and find yourself in a very deep, supportive, loving situation with yourself, which I have done. And you can also try to forgive yourself and do it incorrectly, which I have also done. And I've done it both ways so that I could see exactly what it was supposed to be like for myself, you know? I've done the bypassing, and I've done the yes, I know, and I've done the it just doesn't work this way, and it just can't happen for me, and I just can't do it, and it just won't happen, blah, 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 blah. And then there were times of just deep tenderness where ultimate vulnerability wins over because there's nothing left to give. And it's just you. And you are faced with a moment of deep conviction, and you have to ask yourself, am I ready? Am I ready to take that next step forward? Am I ready for the next level? Am I ready to embody what I desire? And that is what's coming with this solar eclipse on September 21st. This is going to be a massive change in direction for you. This is going to be a massive shift in your entire lifestyle. And if you can really bring yourself to the edge of this with forgiveness and compassion for you, and then if you have energy left, extending it out to everyone else or other people and situations and things, then that's great. But the most important thing is for you to just focus on you. Focus on forgiving you, compassion towards you, kindness, grace, mercy, and holding yourself, having fun, playing like a child, letting yourself be free, letting yourself explore something. And that could be a coloring book. That could be, climbing a tree. I don't recommend it after 40, but to each their own. But doing something that feels very lighthearted and playful to activate the inner child and let the inner child be at ease. Hello, Miss Catherine. Let the inner child be at ease. Let her be free and do something extraordinary that is not about money, not about a fancy place, not about a fancy outfit, but just about being in the present moment with yourself and witnessing the magic and the beauty of your soul, your spirit, your heart, your being. Things are going to shift big time. This is a 9-year. This is a snake year. Layers are being peeled back. Illusions are being washed away. The truth is revealing itself. And that isn't always comfortable. So, if anybody has a question, I will open it up really quick. I wasn't going to do any psychic stuff, but what the hell? What the hell? I'm here. So if you do want to ask a question, please make it specific. Please be specific. And I say it like that because I used to, so when I had my big group, I used to go live once a month, every Wednesday. It was, I don't know, the second Wednesday of the month or something, and I'd go live for an hour and I would do readings. And I would have a lot of people show up and do readings for. But I would tell them, be specific with your questioning, because if you ask me something like, am I on the right track? Am I going in the right direction? Is there anything my spirit team wants me to know? Vague questions, you're going to get a vague answer. So get specific so that I can pull specific information for you. So I am willing to hang out here for a few more minutes if you would like to put a question in the comments, and I will answer it. And then I do want to share that I recorded a really beautiful transmission this morning, and I'm calling it, I think I'm calling it the Psychic Sanctuary. And it's a guided meditation that I recorded, and it's only $4.44. And it's to really bring you to a place of presence within yourself, and to connect with spirit, and to connect with your gifts, and to connect with the inner sanctum, the inner vortex of this stillness that is, it's there. I promise you it's there. I promise you it's there. Yes. Oh my gosh, Catherine. I imagine there's been a lot going on for you this year. And yeah, if you have a question about that, let me know. So in it, well, if I'm just going to wait a few minutes to see if anybody wants to type in a question. If not, that's okay. But let's see, what else was it? I have the Psychic Sanctuary meditation, which is really, really, really very beautiful. And that's like 28 minutes. So if you could give yourself like 30 minutes to really just go into this experience, I feel like things will show up for you. The other thing is, what am I doing? Oh, Psychic Circle. So Psychic Circle is coming, and it is like really, 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 really powerful. And I am adding on to it this year. So last year I taught the Institute of Psychic Mediumship. The year before that I taught Psychic Circle. I'm bringing Psychic Circle back, and it is, hi Miss Sean. I am selling it for $555 until like Saturday. It goes up to $777, and it's a very interactive, really, 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 really incredible program that I have developed and I teach to support energetic sensitives developing their gifts, and clairvoyance and clairaudience, clairsentience, claircognizance. Like, I'm going to move stuff and activate stuff within you that is already there and hungry to be acknowledged. Okay, Catherine, I had oh, so you had to put down Mama's. Okay, is she okay? Does she hate me? You can, yeah. It's $555 to come into the circle. It's a very potent, beautiful program, and I'm adding on to it. So the original one that I did 2 years ago, which I had I think 23 or 24 people join. It was incredible, and we did 6 2-hour training sessions. So I'm actually going to be adding on to it this year, and I'm going to be adding a workbook and a journal. So if you want to jump into that, please let me know, because I am extending the program itself, but the price on it is going up to $777 on Saturday. And congratulations on your baby girl. That is, I understand. So my baby girl, my firstborn, she's going to be 18 next week, Catherine. 18. I'm just like, what? So I feel like I've also been going through a lot of emotions about that. You know, I really have. I've been going through a lot of emotions about that. Okay, so I know you had to put your pup down. No, she doesn't hate you. No. Let me, and I just know that she doesn't hate you, but let me just tap into her really quick. Okay, so I feel like she likes, she's still with you. I see her put her little head down and her paws down on like your right foot. Like, I see her do this on your right foot. And so she's not upset at all. She's at peace. She spends a lot of time around you though. I don't, like, sometimes I see dogs like running in fields and, you know, doing different things with other dogs, or even meeting up with a loved one in spirit. And I don't see that for this particular pup. I actually see her staying very close to you, and she just seems very like on your foot, on your right foot. So if you feel like something is rubbing against your right leg, like near your ankle, or you feel like there is, energy or pressure near that bottom part of your right leg, like just know that is probably her. She feels very sweet to me, and she had, I feel like she had pain. I feel like she was in pain. You did her a great service. Losing a pet is never easy. We put our black lab down a few months ago, and you know, we waited as long as we could until it was to that point where it was like, it's not good for him, you know. And of course we feel terrible, but I talk to spirits all the time, and I never have any pup or person come forward and be like angry about something like that, you know. I've had people who definitely have some opinions about things, but I don't feel like anything like that here. No, you can feel her. Yeah, I'm telling you, she's definitely around you a lot. She's definitely around you a lot, but specifically I see her at your right foot, putting her little face down on your foot and like her little paws under her chin. So she's okay. And, you know, let me know if you are interested in registering for Psychic Circle. We're probably not going to be starting for a few weeks, and but you would have access to all of the modules upon purchase. So if you decide that you'd like to buy, let me know so I can send you a link, and then you would have access to all 6 modules, and then the new stuff is coming, and you would have access to all of the different upgrades and the add-ons as I release them over time. So that is pretty much it over here, everyone. I hope that you guys are having a really great week. It is Wednesday. We are in September. I mean, we're just getting into the best months of the year. This is my favorite, absolute favorite time of the year. Take care of yourself. If you did not, perfect, fantastic. If you didn't see some of the other stuff in the video, please go back and watch it, because I really went into a lot of descriptive information about this lunar eclipse and what's coming up for the solar eclipse, and what I really invite us all to do for ourselves as we're moving through this energy. The solar eclipse is going to move things around no matter what. No matter what, it's going to happen. So the best thing for us to do is to take care of ourselves, to nurture ourselves, to be very patient with ourselves, kind, gentle, compassion, all of those things. I feel like just take on the energy of Kuan Yin, take on the energy of, you know, Green Tara, take on the energy of White Buffalo Calf Woman, all of these very soft, very soft goddesses. I feel like those are the ones that are going to take you to the deeper depths that are really going to activate the bigger things that are coming. So if anybody has questions about that, if anybody wants to schedule a session with me, if you are interested in Psychic Circle, please do not hesitate. Let me know, reach out, and we will connect, and I will get you started. All right, everyone, thank you so much for being here, and I hope you have a really great week. All right, bye for now.